it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. Ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. Talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it.
It's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. Ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. Talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a
this a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Head to Head with Brian Parker. I am he, and we are back for another week of OnlyFans updates and shenanigans. This is the George Santos episode. We are streaming live and direct on Amazon Fire TV as well as Roku TV, LinkedIn, Facebook Live, X, as well as YouTube. Always go to YouTube, Amazon Fire, Roku, and search for N-Power, the letter N, as Drain would say, the good N, N-P-O-W-E-R. And make sure that you like, share, and most importantly, please subscribe, as that always does help with the algorithms. Thank y'all for joining us for another week. I'm joined by my panelists here. We have Lori Parker. How you doing, Lori?
Hey.
Okay. Yeah. Thought that was Robin Dixon, but okay. And let's also say hello to the one, the only, the man that keeps the bills getting paid and make sure that we keep our relevance on the air. The one, the only, the franchise. Welcome back, sir, Mr. Jermaine Parker. How are you?
What's going on, family? What's going on, family? Hey, look, shout out to the Bradford Bears. I think they won by like 16 or 18 tonight. Got their first win of the season. So
Okay.
yeah.
Go ahead, Bradford Bears.
Yeah, shout out.
Okay. Shout out also to my West Charlotte Mighty Lions, who are going over to the cow pasture in Shelby, known as Crest, for the third round of the NCHSAA playoffs. I hope I got all the initials right. I probably got some backwards, but North Carolina High School Association, whatever it is. But they have made it to the third round of the playoffs. Not sure if this is the one that once they win, they go to the state, but they are taking care of business. So far, this will be their first playoff game away from Dub C. So hopefully the little 45-minute drive to Shelby will not take away any of that mojo, so to speak. So good luck to my Mighty Lions going out there tomorrow, hopefully bringing back a dub to the dub, which would be nice. They do go to the states. I believe the states are normally in Chapel Hill, so that will definitely be interesting to be able to see them go back to Carolina to go to the state. So hopefully it all works with that. You guys are joining us again on N-Power. Yeah, you can check us out on Roku and Amazon, as I previously said, not only to catch up with previous shows as we're into our third year on N-Power, but there's also other shows as well, including Head to Head Sports, which I co-host with my man, Mr. Randall Hargrove, every single Wednesday, 26 weeks out of the year, for NFL football breakdown. And man, it was a lively one last night. Somebody got me all riled up about them daggone Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young being a bust. So I dug into it. I caught so much hell for posting on my Facebook that Bryce Young was a bust 8-9 games into the season. But yeah, I said it. And it's true. It's true.
Why did you get so much? I mean, it's so first of all, it's a great show that you and Rand put on. It's very insightful. Of course, it sometimes boils down to Panthers and Steelers, but that's what the host's favorite teams are. But as far as Bryce Young, I don't know what you said about. I mean, you had to take on him before he even played. Um, and if not for anything, if we've seen this time and time again in the NFL where somebody's being put out too quick, it ruins the confidence, it ruins everybody else's confidence in them and stuff. And the Panthers have done a great job of ruining this young man. I'm not saying that he couldn't have been something had he been worked into a reasonable system, but he doesn't have an O line that's protecting him, which is a problem. I think you made the Colin Murray comment last night that he's not as mobile,
Mhm.
or he does maybe he's exactly as mobile as Kyler, but he doesn't have the self preservation gene that Kyler has to get him out of there, and he just stands back there and takes hits and stuff. And so, I
Yeah.
mean, if that's it, then that's it. I don't know why you can be mad all you want to, and I think he's a nice young man. I think that's the reason that the Panthers drafted him and stuff, and because the Panthers value character over ability all day.
I saw the interesting thing about C.J. Stroud was that they were like, his dad has never seen him play a live game because he's incarcerated. I would say that for C.J. Stroud to be in that kind of situation, knowing that your dad is behind bars and can't physically see you for quite some time, if ever, and for you to go out and somehow compartmentalize that in a way that the play that you display on the field is of that level and magnitude, to me says a lot about your character as well. That you're able to know that you got that going on. Every kid that makes it to the pros wants their parents to be able to see them do well and stuff like that. I mean, he played at Ohio State. I mean, that's one of the biggest schools and biggest stages that you can play on and be successful. And to have kind of all of that going on in the background from a family standpoint, I mean, to me, that's huge because that's a lot of other stuff stacked against you. Um, and for him to kind of be able to compartmentalize that, block that out, not just be an exceptional athlete, but make the players around him better. Because I will say, like I said to Rand on the show last night, he's playing for a team that was mired in a lot of drama and things like that. They're on the third coach in the last 3 years. The way they did Lovie Smith, the way they did David Culley. You had DeAndre Hopkins trying to get out of that organization. You had TJ Watts trying to get out of that organization. Nobody wanted to be in Houston. Um, so it was a mess. Houston was a mess. For him to go to that organization where they literally won 2 games last year, I believe it was. They got rid of Mr. Masagi. They sent Deshaun Watson to Cleveland. So Mr. Masagi is gone. So they just had so much turmoil in that organization. For him to come in as a rookie and be able to just take control of that and make the players around him better, because when you looked at the roster in the preseason, there were no players on that roster that if you were an opposing team would make you stay up late at night or shaking your boots or anything like that. So the fact that not only are they being competitive, but they're actually winning some games against some formidable opponents, that says a lot about that young kid. And I'm dead serious. If they not only make it to the playoffs, but maybe get into the second round of the playoffs, and he doesn't get any votes, I would be extremely surprised, because more than likely he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. But he also has the chance of winning the MVP as a rookie, just because of the way that he has taken that team and moved them along so quickly. As the second round pick. I mean, I'm sorry, as the number all second pick, not second round.
Well, I think in Carolina, I think a lot of people were really confused as to how Bryce ended up to be the first overall pick anyway. And again, this is just football. It isn't personal. It's nothing against him and his family and his character and stuff like that. It's just that the product on the field doesn't match the position. I think you made a really good choice about why he's a bust. You talked about Baker Mayfield, and when Baker comes up with a decent game, and people are on the water cooler, hyping it up and stuff. And you're like, but he's a number one pick. The expectation, he's not a fourth, fifth rounder who you'd be like, yeah, sure, he's not some journeyman and stuff. He's the number one overall pick. And the same thing with Bryce is that, like I said, I mean, the Panthers, not that, and I made a statement because I love to throw a little comedy while you guys are actually doing your show stuff.
Yes, you do.
But I made the statement that if the Panthers could have the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth pick in this year's draft, and they still would be less than 500 next year, and they mismanaged the talent if they even drafted talent.
No, you're absolutely right. And we had done a show a while back where we even looked at the fact of players that they've drafted over the last 4 years, none of them on the team anymore. So when you're sitting there and you have anywhere between 5 to 7 picks every draft, and you can't retain players because they just fizzle out, then that means that you are not evaluating talent correctly. It's easy to normally it's easy to get the first round pick right because you can pretty much figure out the top 32 players that should be able to start on day one. That's pretty easy most of the time. It's hard to mess up the number one pick. I've seen it happen. I've seen number one pick bust, but it's pretty hard. What really tests your scouting department's abilities is getting that third, that fourth, that fifth round pick right. That person that may be a little rough around the edges that you got to do a little development with, that may not be able to start immediately, but may be able to learn under the incumbent guy and be able to learn so that eventually as that guy becomes a little bit longer in the tooth, they can kind of step right in and be more of either a rotational player or a starter, something like that. I know we're killing Lori with football, but Lori actually watched some of this with me. And I said, watch, he going to stand back there like a pinata and get his head knocked off. I said, watch. As soon as they hiked the ball, he got about 1.5 seconds before he going to be on the ground. What happened, Lori?
Yes, that's true on what happened. But then I also asked questions to you. We had this conversation because I said, what's going on with the Panthers? And it's like, this is ridiculous. And I was like, what is he doing? Like, it's like it's just an abomination. It was just horrible. So I was just sitting here. So Brian and I were having this very long conversation, partially through the game. So and I even brought that up because I said everybody hyped him up. So I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
What is he doing?
Hey, Anthony, thanks for joining, buddy. And that's why I did say it can happen because as you put in, it can happen. Look at Jamarcus Russell. That was a big mistake. Yeah, I mean, that's why I said it can happen because Ryan leave and hell, you could put Daniel Jones in there. That wasn't necessarily, Daniel Jones, that was Dave Gettleman trying to overthink it and be a genius and take a quarterback from Duke who really had no business being drafted the number 6 overall pick, because what happens is there's expectations of a number 1 pick. That when you're picked number 1, you're supposed to be that dude. When I pick a quarterback with the number 1 pick, when I took my number 9 pick, traded my highly prized receiver in DJ Moore to Chicago to get the number 1 pick, I don't want no excuses. I don't care how bad your offensive line is. You better figure it out. Because listen, normally teams that have the number 1 pick are bad teams. That's how you get the draft order, unless you trade up. Normally, when you got the first 10 picks, that means you had the worst 10 of the records in the NFL. Normally, unless you made some trades where you took somebody's number 1 pick from them and things like that. But that's normally what that means. When you see the NBA draft and a team has the number 1 pick, 99% of the time, that means they had the worst record the year before. That's how they get the number 1 pick. Now the NBA changed it to where they started doing ping pong balls to kind of shift it up a little bit because
Well, I
what
think that was to discourage people from tanking.
tanking, right? That's where I was going with it. They did that to discourage people from just saying, you know what, we ain't got a chance in hell with this season, so let's just start deliberately losing games so we can go after Wakabamba or whatever the dude's name is that is like what 6'8" or 6'7".
He was amazing.
Yeah, dude, dude can play like all five positions. That's just crazy. He's like a bigger version of Kevin Durant. They showed a clip one time of him standing on the free throw line next to Kevin Durant. He made Kevin Durant look like Muggsy Bogues.
And Kevin Durant, a lot of people acknowledge that while he may be listed at like 6'10" or 6'11", he's a 7 foot.
He's 7 foot.
He's
So
7 foot.
he made Kevin Durant look like a little kid. That's how big this dude is. So yeah, so that's a whole nother thing too. But we get into it, y'all, every single Wednesday. We chop it up. Yeah, we talk about Panthers. Yeah, we talk about the Steelers. The NBA draft is rigged. Yeah, they probably are.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Anything with ping pong balls always makes
Yeah.
rigged. I mean, you might as well have a duel. I'm just saying.
Maybe they should go into bingo.
No,
Call out numbers.
It's rigged too. How do I know how you turn in that? I mean, that's just like playing craps at the casino, and I think they got magnets in it to make it fall on the certain numbers and stuff like that. So, you'll never be able to convince me that they don't have something like that.
Well, and this is side to this conversation, but to Anthony's point, a lot of the NBA, the matchups, who wins the championship, or who the NBA is a lot of scripted stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. So yes, take that however you want to. But
yeah,
it's scripted.
Absolutely. Hey, y'all, look, man, we got so much stuff that's gone on in the last week in the news. I don't even know where to begin. I guess let me get the easiest stuff out of the way. So we do know that the UAW, the United Auto Workers Union, was able to get all of the big three car manufacturers unions to go along with most of their demands. So they were able to strike an agreement, and the union workers are back to work, awaiting the final vote that they feel pretty confident that it's going to be ratified, by the union, where they were able to get some increases in pay. So that's going to be a good thing. But the struggle is not over. They're actually looking to expand to some of the other non-union workers and say, hey, listen, you guys need representation. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. Now that SAG-AFTRA has just recently claimed an agreement with the movie producers union and everything else, or alliance rather. Now SAG is open back up as well. I'm supposed to be in a meeting, I guess, as part of the union to be able to look over the deal. But one of the biggest sticking features was the use of artificial intelligence to be able to take a likeness of a person and be able to use it in uh, perpetuity, where they can just use it anytime they want to without your consent and without you seeing any residuals from it. Because we all know that AI and green screens and all that stuff is where they're going. So all they were basically trying to do was pay you one time, but be able to use you over and over and over and not even in the same. You may have filmed on one set and then you appear in another totally different show, because they own the rights to use your likeness. And you don't get any kind of residual checks for that. So that then limits the amount of live actors, background actors, so on and so forth, that they'll need, because they can just fill people in with computer generated images, or what we like to call CGI. So that's crazy. Got a lot of feedback from last week's show on the YouTube channel. We had went into a subject at about 8:00 last week that I didn't know that we were going to actually go. and Mr. TNTBS is not on this week, but he took us into an area and kind of got my blood boiling just a little bit, and
Not a little bit, a lot of bit.
ran over and everything. And yeah, I mean, but apparently, when I get that worked up, people appreciated it because I started seeing a lot of comments on YouTube. People were like, "Yeah, keep it going. Love the smoke." I'm like, "Yeah, it was a lot of smoke."
What y'all talking about? I don't want to open up old wounds, but
Oh no, ooh. We were talking about Brian has started off talking about with the religious right and going on there. So
And it's about basically trying to make policies based on your religion, specifically when it comes to abortion and things like that. And
yeah.
because we basically talked about how the Tuesday elections brought back results, and it's like the right wing still doesn't understand that they do not represent the majority
At
of the
all.
country. Even in a red state like Ohio, most people understand that, hey, even if I'm against abortion and I choose for myself not to have one, it should not be up to the government to say whether you can or whether if your life is on the line or you are the victim of rape or incest,
Yeah.
whether you shouldn't be able to get one. So even in these red districts, we talked about how there were so many uh, uh, other things out there that people a lot of times, because their religious beliefs. What basically I was getting to, Jermaine, was is just because your religious beliefs are in one direction doesn't mean that that's the way you have to vote. Your voting is based on you representing your constituents.
Yes.
So if your constituents are telling you in town halls or in polls and everything else, this is where we are as a constituency. Because remember, the whole premise behind abortion that they said Roe was unconstitutional because they said it was a states' rights issue. And then Jermaine, I also played this clip, and I'm gonna play it again just to kind of remind people because it was hilarious as hell, and it just pretty much gave away everything. Sometimes, you hear people say, okay, people say the quiet parts out loud. Well, this was one of those moments. Y'all check this out.
Get so many who are unsatisfied with the direction the country's headed in, but apparently that's not it.
Remember, these elections, off-year elections, odd-number elections, are very low turnout elections. They are base elections. And the Democrats have traditionally, number one, outspent us, not just in odd-number year elections, but generally speaking, number one. And number two, their base is more ginned up to go out and vote generally than Republicans. We've seen this now for the last several years. And so a base election, Democrats outspend, and you put very sexy things like abortion and marijuana on the ballot, and a lot of young people come out and vote. It was a secret sauce for disaster in Ohio. I don't know what they were thinking, but that's why I thank goodness that most of the states in this country don't allow you to put everything on the ballot, because pure democracies are not the way to run a country.
So then, to
pure democracies.
Yeah. How you doing, Mr. TNTBS? Your mic is giving us some echoes.
Too close.
Yeah.
How about now?
A lot of every time you hit it or move or something, it's just echoing.
Okay. How about now?
Yeah, it's good as long as you don't thump nothing or tap because it's real. You got a real sensitive mic. That's good.
Yeah.
Though.
That's that good money over there.
That's real good money. Yeah. That's what I figured. We were actually kind of talking about some of the responses that I got from the show from last week. So Jermaine was asking what it was about a little bit, but it was kind of funny how he kind of gave away the game to saying that pure democracies isn't really a good way to run the country, because he's basically saying when we sit there and we cry about states' rights, we didn't mean that when it comes to the states to put it on a ballot. What we meant is to let us go into the legislature and come up with our own legislation and have our governor sign it into law, not let it be based on what the constituents think, but what a bunch of religious zealots think. And that's where that had kind of started. It was funny. You could even see the uneasiness in one of the reporters when they put it on her, and he was talking about sexy sauce and talking about sexy things like abortion and marijuana. Abortion isn't sexy. See, the fact that you think abortion is sexy to people
Well,
is crazy, because that's
so
a hard
I
decision
I
people to make.
completely so I saw that clip and I completely understand what he means. And actually, this country was founded. The reason that this country is a republic and not a straight democracy is because they did not believe that the average person was educated enough to make informed decisions, to vote on stuff, and there just had to be some times where, like, there were some things that yes, we'll take it to a straight vote, but the country wasn't founded on that. What he is saying today, a couple hundred years later, is that the educational system has failed us, and the populace is still not educated enough to make its own decisions.
Right.
So basically, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I was just, so to me, when I hear my brother say that, what I hear is that the thinkers like him, um, that's why being woke is such a frightening thing to the far right, because being woke just means that we are educated now. You can no longer fool us. You can no longer, we don't necessarily, I mean, you can talk your talk, but we're going to do the research. We're going to fact check you in real time, in real life, like old girl do on the four, whenever they on that Fox News panel, different things like that. And so, like we've always said, like since Schoolhouse Rock, knowledge is power. So the more that we educate ourselves, see, whenever I forgot his name right now, Mr. Lynch wrote his book, and he was insulting the black community as a whole, and he was saying, we can let out all the secrets and we can write them down and put them in the book because they won't ever read it. And so that was a lot of cockiness and confidence that Mr. Lynch had, to even say, to be just that brazen about even the future of our community as a whole, to say they're lazy, they dumb, they're stupid, and we will give them no choice but to believe us. And it seems like that the Republican Party thrives on just that. That's why their base is scare the masses, scare the ignorant, put half information out there, and what they're going to do about it, because we tell you how to think. We're going to tell you how to feel. We're going to tell you what's in and out. And that's what they depend on. But then they clutch their pearls and they are in such shock and awe when they come to realize, oh, the base, or what they think that they're talking to the base, really isn't as strong and as big as they think that the base is. Steve Harvey had a very beautiful way of describing, I think, what it's like to go viral. What it's like to go viral for us. So, say for instance, if we go viral, that means we are bringing in at least 1 million viewers, and that would be phenomenal for anybody. But then when you look at 1 million viewers versus how many people that are actually in the United States alone, 1 million viewers is not a lot at all. And even let's just say you had a great majority of the United States looking at your topic. How many people of it what's the population of the world? So yeah, you are big, you are dynamite in your world, but the actual real world view, you're still very small. So when he said it like that, I looked at even going viral as like, dang, even in our opinion, even in the social media world, even what we consider viral, there's still a large amount of number out there of people that don't know you, don't care about what you're talking about, can care less, and everything else. So, I mean, the energy that we put towards something, and especially when it comes to, topics that even we talk about, I mean, it's truly amazing. So,
I must be high. You lost me at the 2 minute mark. But the thing that I wanted to say is that historically speaking, again, that I'm your history guy, especially with racism and stuff. People don't fear if people are don't fear things, they don't put laws in existence to keep people from reading. I know that they put things out there and they said, "Oh, you can hide in a book and stuff," and then they wouldn't let black people read. Um, uh, they're fearful, and to your point, now the part I did really dig was like we talk about being woke and stuff, and how they've hijacked what the meaning is, but to be awakened to know what's the awareness and stuff that's going on. The general populace is awake, and when they say that they're putting sexy things on the ballot and stuff, I don't think he means like like abortion is sexy. It's just that the topic is intriguing and that people want to talk about it.
Right.
Thing is that that's why a lot of times to his point, there are a lot of things that don't go to ballot, right? Because they don't want people, because they already know it's an unpopular opinion,
He
and they
wasn't
think they
totally
know better.
wrong. He was just inarticulate the way he said it.
He said everything. No, he said, so the thing is that he was on a basically a Republican channel,
Right.
and he was talking Republican.
Yeah,
That's that,
right. But what I mean
so
is to the popular constituency out there, it's inarticulate because it's not accurate. He was basically saying, well, they're all riled up to come vote. Yeah, because you sat there and canceled freaking Roe v. Wade.
yeah.
Now, because what you did was you took something that had been settled law for damn near 50 years, and every time a new person was going to be appointed to Supreme Court, and they would always ask them in the judiciary meetings, well, how do you feel about Roe v. Wade? They all sat there and lied and said, well, it's settled
It's
precedent
settled law, settled law, settled law.
until it wasn't, and now you want to know why everybody's showing up to the ballot to let you know that they don't agree with your bull crap.
So I missed you guys last week, and I apologize. I was working,
we missed
but here's the thing that's so funny to me, and I didn't see the show, so you apologize if you've already covered this point. Right now, they have Trump pulling ahead of Biden.
Yeah.
And so you would think that if that was your front runner and he was supposed to be, a shoe-in at this point to win the election, that Republicans would have had a lot more wins than they did last week, and they simply did not. And so their people and their policies and a lot of his back people lost. And you think to yourself again, if he's so popular and he's polling so well, why are they not doing better? And so I think that just goes to say, especially like Ohio, which is a very, very red state. One of these things is that Republicans, again, are just on the wrong side of these issues.
Yes.
They have taken, to your point, to wrap back into your point about people voting the way they feel instead of representing, because this is the House of Representatives, it is a republic. It's not about your personal platform. It's about whatever your constituents, whether you agree with it or not, should be the thing. Hey guys, I can argue my point, but if everybody comes to me and says in the third district or whatever that this is what you want, then that's how I vote. And I think more power to the voters who are out there exercising their rights when it does come to straight Democratic ballots and stuff, whether people want it or not. I know there's a lot of times where there have been bond issues raised, stuff, right? And bonds are not sexy political things, and bonds have lost. Only for the city, I know Charlotte has done it, where a bond is lost, and they just said, okay, well, we'll just take it off the ballot and we'll vote for it ourselves.
Right.
Because you people didn't want to pay the extra taxes and stuff, and we really wanted it, so we're just going to find a way.
We'll just figure we'll figure a workaround.
We'll figure a workaround to get the same thing that we wanted and stuff. So yeah, I can see how that could be a very heated thing from last week. And like I said, I don't want to drag you back to last week just simply because I didn't get to participate, but I was a little curious.
It was the whole double standard with the religious fundamentalism, where we can see where a lot of times these politicians are so-called guided by their religious Christian beliefs to make decisions like MAGA Mike um, Johnson, the new Speaker of the House, is this big zealot and everything. And it's kind of funny though, they're opportunistic religious zealots because certain things don't
All
bother.
zealots are.
Yeah, so certain things from a religious standpoint don't bother them. There's scriptures in the Bible that says take care of the needy, take care of the poor, and
Absolutely.
everything else. Yet they try to cut SNAP and all other kinds of welfare benefits. But I thought you were pro-life. But you don't want kids to be able to have a meal or food. It's just kind of crazy. We're pro-life, but once they're born, we don't really give two damns about them. So are you pro-birth or are you pro-life? Because
No, they're pro-labor.
Yeah, they're pro-labor because they need. Yeah, and MAGA Mike, they had a clip of him actually saying, had it not been for all these abortions, these would have been a bunch of able-bodied workers. Again, giving away the game plan. Wait a minute. You want women to be vessels to have kids so that we can have a able-bodied workforce so that you can cut Medicare and Medicaid and all other kinds of benefits and things like that. So your agenda to taking away women's bodily autonomy is so that the Chamber of Commerce, big business, and all these businesses that you give tax cuts to, the fat cats, can continue to be fed by having an endless supply of workers for their quote unquote mines that they want to send them to every day.
Yeah, I've said this before that as we talk about the uneducated worker, and when you look, and this isn't just Jermaine's opinion, the U.S. does not lead in education, right? And we could, because we have enough technology. Believe me, it's amazing what people can do with do to your phones and with bombs and lasers and mess, and we do all kinds of stuff. But why is our education behind? Because our education system is the same education system that was founded back in the late 1800s, and it was to get people off the farm into the industrial age just enough so they could be workers.
Yep.
It wasn't to educate them. It wasn't to make the country more affluent in terms of how people receive their knowledge, and it was really a money-driven thing. And that system is still there today because let's be honest, somebody has got to take your Taco Bell order. Somebody has got to get your Starbucks. And the education system gives them just enough to be able to do that stuff. Again, modern day industrialism. No, we don't need elevator workers anymore, operators anymore, but sure, we'll teach you enough to work on the elevator because I need to get to my job. And so the lower level service things, which most people fall under, most of the wealth in this country is held by a very, 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 very small percentage of people. And with the promise, and that's the other thing with the religious thing, is it's always about the promise. That's why heaven's on the other side of death, because we can't do anything for you now, but when you're not here, and
all your riches and rewards are
and on the point where you can't come back and testify that it's real. No, guys, they were right. just go ahead and do what you're doing, and the rewards over here.
Yeah. That's why they say you're in this world, but you're not of this world. That way, if you don't ever get any better than you are right now, don't worry. When you get to the next stop, trust me.
Yeah, your life is shitty, and we're not going to do anything to help you with it. But don't worry, when you die, you get the reward. Yeah, and so like you said, it's. If people were actually in tune with their religion in terms of that was really their political motivation and stuff, I've heard Johnson repeat that, he's going to go by his faith. When he's asked direct questions about things, he deflects to faith for how he'll vote and what he thinks about things. He just deflects to faith and stuff. And if that was true, then there would be a lot more compassion and kindness within politics and stuff. The reason that we asked for separation of church and state was because we understood, or our founding fathers understood that wasn't true, because they had seen it. they seen it work, and they saw how people use faith as a weapon,
Right.
not as a tool for healing and stuff.
Right. Because things get cherry picked. It's saying, when they sit there and they talk about the teachings of Jesus, well, Jesus taught about love and compassion and empathy and being able to love yourself as God loves you. I believe that's in the scripture. If you look at the Republicans this past week, wanting to get into fights, poking each other in the back, all these crazy things that they had going on. And I definitely wanted to get to some of that too, because it was just absolutely hilarious. I'm going to pull this clip here. This is Mark Wayne Mullen, one of 100 senators in the United States Senate, who wants to play big bad man with Sean O'Brien, who is head of the Teamsters. Yeah. Who is head of the Teamsters. And he's come in to testify a couple of times. And every time him and Mark Wayne Mullen from Oklahoma somehow get into it, because the first time they got into it, I believe, was in March, when Mark Wayne Mullen really came after him, asking him, what is one job that you've created? Because he was attacking the whole purpose of unions.
Yeah, he's anti-union.
And he's anti-union, and he thinks that they're just more like the mob, and they just take dues from people, and they don't do anything but just rile up their membership into demanding things. And Mark Wayne Mullen, before coming to Congress, has his own business, a plumbing business, I believe. So a lot of times business owners have a different view of unions, because a lot of times unions stand in the way between what they perceive are the relationships that they should be able to have between themselves and their workers. But unions represent the worker, and he took a lot of exception to that. So he came after him in a big way. So Jermaine's getting ready, because he already knows where this is going. So without further ado,
I'm ready.
Oh, he ready. This is Mark Wayne Mullen telling Sean O'Brien, "Well, stand your butt up then."
3, 4, 5 times. And let me read what the last one said. It said, greedy CEO who pretends like he's self-made. Sir, I wish he was in the truck with me when I was building my plumbing company. Myself and my wife was running the office, because I sure remember working pretty hard and long hours. Pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
No, stop it.
Is that your solution every
Hold it. No, sit down. Sit down.
Look at you.
You're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond? Mr.
Hold it. If
Hold
we
on.
can, no,
This is
I have
what
the
he
mic.
said.
I'm sorry.
This is
hold
what
it.
he said.
You'll have your time.
Okay.
Can I respond?
Oh, no, you can't. This is a hearing. And God knows the American people have enough of contempt for Congress. Let's not
I don't
make
like
it worse.
thugs and bullies.
You have,
And that's
you
what-
have
I don't
the
like
mic.
you, because you
Hold
just
it.
described yourself.
Hold it. You have the mic.
Yeah.
You have time.
All right.
Make your statement.
Then let's do this, because I did challenge you and I accepted your challenge, and you went quiet.
No, I didn't go quiet.
hold on.
No,
You
hold-
challenged me to a cage match,
No, no,
acting
no.
like a
Sir.
12-year-old schoolyard
Hold it.
bully.
Excuse
Sir,
me.
hold on.
Hold it. No, excuse me. I have the
I will
mic.
say exactly.
Senator
what you
Mullen,
said.
I have the mic. You have questions on any economic issues, anything that said, go for it. We're not here to talk about physical abuse.
You brought.
We're not
him
talking
in.
about, of course I
And,
did.
and let me show you his hearing, because I want to expose this thug to who he is. And
Could you not point at me? That's disrespectful.
All right.
I don't care about respecting you at all. I respect
don't
people that
respect you at all.
respect. So
All right, hold it.
let me
Hold it. No,
You're one of
hold
100
it.
of the most
Hold
elite
it,
people
please.
acted.
Please. All right. This is excuse me. This is a hearing to discuss economic issues. All right? If you have questions for Mr. O'Brien or anybody else on what he has said, go for it. But we're not here to talk about fights or anything else.
I'm quoting exactly what he said.
You can say what you want.
This is your witness
This
you
is
brought.
my
And
witness.
I'm exposing him.
You can
as a
talk
person
anything
who
you want.
he is. So
But
in
no
2013,
Nope.
in 2013, O'Brien was suspended by the Teamsters for intimidating your own members. He wanted to bring the mob mentality back to the Teamsters. This is your guy.
And you're obviously going to give him a chance to respond to your questions.
Absolutely, because this is my question. Because you called me out. I didn't call you out.
Yeah, you did.
You said anytime, any place.
That's
what you said.
let's get the record
Okay.
straight.
Let's hold it. No.
Hold on.
Senator Mullen, do you have a question for the witness?
Yeah. I
Okay,
think that's what I'm getting
let's
at.
hear it.
So, anytime, any place.
No, that's not.
April is a charity event.
No, that's not.
No, it's a sir. He said it, and this is my
He is
time,
here to
and you can set
no.
parameters on what the questions can or cannot be asked, and I'll ask.
No,
you
you're not going to.
questions.
We're not going to be talking about
yes, we
physical
can.
confrontation.
Oh, this is about charity for a union charity because this is for firefighters. And
do you have a question on his testimony?
April.
Grow up,
April
will you
next
please?
You have
grow
a
up. You're an
question
embarrassment.
on his. Let's not
You
be.
said it.
You're an embarrassment.
You said
You're
it,
an
and I'm just
embarrassment.
simply answering it.
You
Senator
reached
Mullen,
out
go
to
hold it.
everybody.
Hold it. Senator Mullen, you made some charges. Mr. O'Brien, do you want to respond to
Yeah, go
the
ahead,
question?
please.
Yeah, I mean, look, the reality of it is,
Accept my challenge,
Mr.
tough guy.
Mullen, tough guy.
Hold it. Answer the questions.
All right, y'all won. He made a lot of statements, right? And his statements are fiction at best.
Fiction. I read them.
Can he answer?
What?
Answer the question, please.
I can't understand him, to be honest with you.
All right.
He rambles so much. What was your question, actually?
You said I made a lot of statements.
No, but what's your question? I don't understand your question. Could you repeat it?
You said anytime, any place.
What's your question?
Accept the challenge.
What challenge?
You said anytime, any place. I'm accepting yours, so why don't you come
What
back?
challenge? What challenge are you talking
April
about?
30th. How about we do it for a charity at the Smoking Guns in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
No, we're not going to be
what was the
talking about
challenge?
physical
What are you talking
confrontations here.
You want to fight me?
What'd you say by anytime, any place?
Let's have coffee, discuss our differences.
Oh, that's what you said.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
All right, well, let's sit down and have coffee.
Let's
I'd
do
love
it.
to.
All right. I'd love to.
But
It's funny how you're backing out.
Okay.
I don't back on anything.
You did.
You're the one. You're a 100.
Senator-
Should be the most influential people in this country making changes.
Senator
You're
Hassett-
focused on.
Okay.
You're
Thank
focused
you.
on
Why did
debate
you-
that's not
Why
even
did you
relevant.
keep texting
You're
me
an
and they
embarrassment.
went silent?
You're an
Excuse me.
embarrassment.
They
Look,
went
look.
silence after
You're an embarrassment to the
text.
state of
This
Oklahoma.
hearing is about the condition of the working class in America.
This hearing, you are United States Senator. Boy, I tell you, I played the extended version because it was just hilarious to keep watching because the guy was just being triggered. And people don't know that Markwayne Mullen, he's not the tallest dude because Sean O'Brien had actually posted he was responding to a tweet that he had done where he showed him being the tough guy and he was standing on an apple box at a debate because he's so short. But the thing about Markwayne Mullen is that people don't know is that he's actually in the Oklahoma Wrestling Hall of Fame. He was actually a UFC
MMA.
fighter. I'm sorry, MMA fighter, where he had a 5-0 record. So he probably is a little bit of a badass when it comes to actual fighting. But he was ready to get down and dirty then because him and O'Brien had been going back. In fact, in one hearing when O'Brien wasn't there, he referred to him as O'Malley. And then I think that kind of set it off even more too. So they've been going back and forth. But between them wanting to fight, Kevin McCarthy apparently hitting somebody in the kidneys in the hallway, a looming government shutdown, which the House did finally pass some legislation. But it was kind of funny, Jermaine, that the House had to pass it with, again, the majority being Democrats, as MAGA Mike Johnson could not get the majority of his Republicans to be serious enough. They have all of these other sideshows that they've been doing all week long, whether it was still trying to subpoena members of the Biden family, go into all these rabbit holes and conspiracy theories and not do anything that enhances anybody's life.
Well, there's a reason for that because Because again, so it's not just them. Election cycles go back and forth. Whoever's in charge usually loses because people are just, as Bernie so elegantly put, American people have a contempt for
They do.
For politicians. I know I do.
Yep. So same.
And so when they're doing it, because they stand on theater and stuff like that, right? And so I they need to, whatever hate tactics or whatever they got going on, they need to go ahead and do it, because by the time the elections roll around, they might not be in those seats anymore.
Well, they seem to do better when they're in the minority. When they
Yes.
can just be the party of no, 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 they do better. When you give them the speaker's gavel in the majority, they don't know how to govern because they are not interested in governing. Let me show you this other little clip that I thought was just hilarious, because, I kind of think, y'all, when we send people to the Congress, we should really be sending our best. And there is no way in the world, after you see this, that this could be any representation of sending our best. And I must say, Georgia, y'all got to do better.
This?
Congresswoman, as I said, I haven't seen the photos that you're holding up before.
Maybe, well, I posted them on my Twitter account. It's public. Maybe
I don't
you guys
spend a lot of time on Twitter.
Well, I'm sure you do, because the Department of Homeland Security, organized with other offices, has censored many Americans, including myself.
I'm not part of the Department of Homeland Security.
Right, Mr. Ray, you should be interested in investigating terrorism.
So, how do you bring on the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigations, assume that all he has to do all damn day is watch what you post on Twitter or X, and then you don't even know the damn department he works in? Georgia, y'all got to do that.
To be honest, I'm sure the FBI is watching her. So
they are too. But don't
not him directly, though.
Don't give Alexander Mayorkas' job to Christopher Wray. And it's funny how much hell they give Christopher Wray when, number one, he's a lifelong Republican, and number two, he was put in office by one Donald John Trump. And they keep acting like he's part of some damn deep state now, because they don't like the fact that he's not 100% MAGA. But it's just kind of funny to see these people in these roles just totally just crapping over themselves. Again, while there's still looming budget shutdowns and things like that, like I said, they finally got something passed. Overnight last night, the Senate went ahead and passed it. It was some kind of two-step continuing resolution, because they had initially had a 45-day continuing resolution, but they spent 3 weeks of it trying to figure out who their speaker was going to be after they got rid of Kevin McCarthy for having to rely on mostly Democratic votes to get the budget continued, and they didn't like that. And then Magic, I know I was going to say that, MAGA Mike Johnson, not Magic Mike. I don't know what he's working with, but I don't really care. But MAGA Mike Johnson, what's wrong, Lori? You got that face. I said, damn it. MAGA Mike Johnson.
Are you trying to get the movie going? Because I'm saying, because it just seems like you need to watch the movie.
You know what, Lori?
Is that what it is?
It looked like you want me to play a Magic Mike clip. You kind of got that look on your face.
No, I do not.
We're not going to see Channing Tatum tonight.
I don't really care for Channing.
Whether on this show or after this show.
I really don't.
You ain't seeing
but
Channing Tatum.
Keep talking about MAGA Mike Johnson.
MAGA Mike. Yeah, you see, it's so easy because I'm so used to saying, because a lot of times when the girls out there be like, well, Daddy, what's it like? What's it like? I'd be like, you ever seen
They
Magic
don't say
Mike?
that.
They ask me that all the time.
No, they don't.
And I'd be like,
your stacks, keep your heart.
I'd be like, it's like Magic Mike, baby. You ever seen Magic Mike? Ooh. I'd be like, yeah, baby. Anyway, so I was having flashbacks, Lori. I was having flashbacks.
No, you were in Brian Land. Again.
Anyway,
stay there.
Not only that, but we also had this, y'all. Here's a headline. House Ethics Committee came back and found out that George Santos was lying indeed. In other news, water is wet.
Basically.
So George Santos kept saying that he's going to defend himself and he'll have his day in court, and he still has a bunch of criminal indictments out there. But the House Ethics Committee did come back today with a scathing report. It was about 56 pages long. I wanted to get the right amount of pages. Scathing 56-page report that basically said that Santos sought to fraudulently exploit every aspect of his House candidacy for his own personal financial profit through a constant series of lies to his constituents, donors, and staff about his background and experience, where they found him doing things like overcharging donors' credit cards, using those funds for personal things such as Botox, buying things, and apparently a couple of purchases on OnlyFans. It wasn't Devin Long. Don't look at me like that. But yeah, so he was doing.
Thank goodness for that.
I know, right? Because I feel some kind of way about him going. Well, I don't know, because if he made a couple of purchases, then that kind of do mean that he liked what he saw the first time.
Again, you're in Brian land. Stop it. Move on.
Or maybe he shared it with some females, because I don't necessarily want him watching me like that on Devin Long OnlyFans. Y'all check it out. But it was interesting that they did come back with a lot of that, and that's more than likely going to give Republicans cover to now expel him, because it takes a 2/3 majority in the House to do it, and he's been brought up for expulsion, I believe, twice now, and they can't get enough votes because most people are saying he's entitled to his due process. He's only been accused. Let's see what the ethics committee says. Let's see what him going to court is saying, and all those types of things. And now they have a little bit more ammo. So more than likely, the House is on recess. But it's very likely that when they come back from recess, one of the first orders of business is going to be to finally get his ass out of there. He already said that after saying that he would run for re-election, that he's changed his mind and is no longer going to do that. What I think he meant was, CJ, is that he's not going to do it under the name of George Santos. That he may come back. Hell, he might come back as a black man. And from New York, he's going to work on his Brooklyn accent. All you got to do is hang around Bernie Sanders. But he's going to come back and probably run as somebody else, since he has no ties to being anybody. He can be any and everybody. He'll just come back as somebody else.
He's going to come back as the rent is too high guy. That's who he's going to come back as.
Not the rent is too high guy.
Yes. I'm sorry. So CJ in New York, especially because he's run for mayor many times over, his platform is basically that rent is too high. It's not affordable. There's no affordable housing. And he has
Isn't that your uncle?
No, it's not my uncle. That's your uncle. And he has a very like this whole getup that he has, and he's always screaming, "Rent's too high! It's too high!" And that's the name of his party. So that's why I was like, he's gonna come back as the black man with the goatee as the rent is too high man.
It's crazy.
I guess everybody got to have a gimmick. So, yeah.
Yeah.
You can Google him. Google rent is too high, and you'll find him.
Hold on, in New York, everybody talked about the rent is too damn high guy, but it's just funny to see all these sideshows in Congress when so many people have so many problems out there. A little bit closer to home, though, CJ. I know you'll. I don't know if you've seen this story about the man and woman in Charlotte resisting arrest because they were found to be smoking marijuana in South Charlotte outside of a Bojangles. And when Charlotte Mecklenburg police tried to arrest them, they fought back a little bit against the cops, which isn't a good thing to do. Like, they tried to put their hands on them. It was a man and a woman. And apparently the woman was resisting arrest because she sat on her hands and would not let them apprehend her. And apparently there is a police procedure to strike them in the hair or something on the side of their leg to cause enough pain to make them comply. Well,
Yeah.
this is kind of what happened instead.
Okay.
You can see here that he took a couple of swings and it got caught and it's gone viral. You can see that this is actually a clip being played on Roland Martin, but it's on Instagram and everything else. Now, one of the things is too, there's a couple things going wrong with this. They kept on and on hitting her. A couple of them held her down, and he kept swinging. But they've had shots of her face where she has bruises to her face. So the question to the police chief has been, well, we know that you said you had to hit her in the thigh, but why does she have bruises on her face? And right now he's saying, I really don't know. But he's saying that he's looked at the body cam, and from the body cam, he can tell that the officers actually were in the right because of the resisting arrest that had happened. The problem is that the North Carolina Republican led Senate passed legislation that body cam videos cannot be released without a court order. So until the courts give Mecklenburg County permission to release the body cam footage, they can't do it. And that's been a sore spot over the last couple of instances in North Carolina where they were wanting to get that body cam footage out so there wouldn't be so much public unrest. But there is a lot of public unrest right now because the footage doesn't look good. But like the police chief says, he ain't never been in a situation where they've had to sit there and get violent with an assailant and it would look good on camera. That part I could understand. There's no assailant is going to look good, but when you don't have the full context to counter it, this is what happens. And when you're already dealing with a community that feels like they have a target on their back just because they woke up today and happen to be black or brown, it doesn't help with the narrative. So the Senate, who Jermaine and CJ, I would probably say, is probably the holding the union, decided to have that legislation for body camera footage a lot of times would not come out, or they would make it as hard as they could for it to come out. But it needs to come out as soon as possible.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where I would, if I would have known about it, I definitely would have covered this on my show. This right here, as a matter of fact, you actually gave me some homework.
Okay.
So just from the little bit that you showed me, this is why my show is called Elephant Exposed, because right now we probably just looking at the ear of the elephant. Somebody else could be holding and looking at the tail of the elephant. So you get what I'm saying. In other words,
yeah.
From whatever we're looking at right here, it definitely looks bad. I can tell you,
it made it to Roland Martin, so it done gone viral. It was on Black Star,
and especially if Roland gets it. When Roland gets it,
yeah,
that's a wrap. So I love my brother Roland. I love my brother Dr. Richie. We all cover the same type of topics. But my thing is that other perspectives and other body cams have to come out.
Yes.
If I was introducing this just the way that you gave it to me, just as raw, I would be telling my audience, like right now, let's just stand by. I know it looks bad, but let's just stand by, because you can get into your feelings and you can make it personal. And see, the bad thing about law enforcement is the actual enforcement. And we can get the half statement, you know, being like, well, so far from what we see, it looks as if the officers are in the right. Now, do we see the big arm swinging up and coming down? Yes, we do. Is it multiple strikes? Yes, we do. But if ain't something zoomed in and everything else, and then audio also plays a big part in things like this.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things are being said. You know, I mean, it's a heck of a lot more to this.
What happened before the bystanders started filming?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's why my show exists. My show exists in the sense to keep everybody a little cooler, let's calm down, and we have time to go frame by frame. And as you like to say, Monday night quarterback it. How do you say that? How do you say that?
Yeah, Monday night quarter. I mean, it's not Monday night.
Monday morning.
Monday morning quarterback. Yeah, yeah. Monday
Right.
morning.
Yeah. Monday morning quarterback. In other words, we have the luxury to go in and do that. But when everything is happening all in the moment and everything, things really do look bad. And that's why I said with my platform, if he's right, he will be right. And if he's wrong, he'll be dead ass wrong. And we will call it out.
I just think that them having that law in place to delay or say that there has to be a court order, I think it should really be up to the individual police department to say, you know what, we've looked at this footage, we made sure that there isn't anything that we need to protect in releasing it, but we need to make sure we release it to the public as soon as possible because
well, that's the screen.
That the loss
what
of
you just
trust,
said, it is
yeah.
the screen. And what I mean by that is that's the excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Because okay, now here's the politics side. Here's the political side of that. They probably looked at this video from all kinds of angles already,
Yep.
and come to find out, okay, we've been doing a lot of bragging here as far as Mecklenburg, like Charlotte goes, and we are better than our neighbors. Now this guy is giving us a proverbial black eye. So now we are the ones that got to sit down and shut up and take our own medicine now because this fool done made us look bad. And so now they're trying to figure out a better political way to soften the blow, so to speak.
Jermaine, this was about the Bojangles you used to live by, South Tryon and Arrowwood.
Yeah. So a couple things. One, CJ, if you're going to break that down, I'd love to watch it because that's always good stuff right there.
Thank you.
The thing from my perspective, and I did live over there. Marijuana use is such a low priority, not because Jermaine said so, but because the police department basically said that we got murders. If you go off Sugar Creek and Regan, it's people dying there every week, it seems, shootings and stuff. I would, and now this again, somebody who comes from historically, like when the officer in South Carolina shot the guy that was running away from him in the back, that was a bad shoot. When the woman in Texas went to the wrong apartment, shot that guy, bad shoots. There are lots of, there's a lot of times where you just say bad shoots and bad stuff by the police. I'm going to give the police benefit of doubt for a couple reasons. One, I know some CMPD officers, and I'll tell you that they would like you to see their body cam footage. Because of stuff like this, what a lot of people, what a community was like, well, we want to see it. Officers embrace this because they're like, yeah, I want you to see it so you can see that this person is lying. And they're not telling you what's exactly wrong.
Right. The police chief quoted saying, I watched the body worn camera footage, and I believe that it tells more of the story than what is circulating on social media. And that's because what's circulating on social media was somebody's post that they were only able to start recording at a certain point. The officer's body cam footage would have captured pretty much everything from the beginning and be able to contextualize it in a way where there wouldn't be a whole lot of doubt as to what led to it. Now, I will say this: even if the person had initially put her hands on you, but now she's sitting on her hands, and there are other people holding her down, do you really got to swing on her leg that many times?
Okay. Can
Go
can,
ahead.
can I go ahead and answer the striking portion? Okay, so this is where I would come in and I would start to break down the different strikes. This particular strike is called the peroneal nerve strike.
Peroneal nerve, that's it.
Okay. So this strike, basically, if I can, you guys don't mind, if you guys don't mind, I don't know if you guys can actually capture my leg. Okay. But the common peroneal, it starts at the top of the base of your hip and it runs down to your knee. Okay. And even sitting down in a sitting down position, okay, even in a sitting down position, that nerve can be strike. Now, now I couldn't see her body weight. I'm not trying to be funny, guys, but you don't know how the cushion,
how thick it is,
from how thick that cushion is. So let's just say, even though I'm a pretty strong guy, I'm 5'6", 170-ish pounds, depending on how much I ate. Okay. I can hit slow and it won't affect. And I can hit fast and I can give the same amount of power that it would take someone like yourself or Jermaine to deliver the same blow. So this is what I'm saying. All these things, it has to be taken in its proper context.
So basically what you're saying is, because it's a strike, it ain't gonna look good whether he was striking the side of her leg or any other part, because of the way he
even
had
if she was standing up, even if she was standing up,
it's gonna look violent no matter what.
And that's why they are called strikes.
And CJ, I think you can speak to this.
Yes.
Isn't it? And it's just it's harder to restrain somebody than it is just to hurt them.
Yes, sir. Especially a female. Okay, I'm gonna say this one more time. Especially a female, because they know that you have to be extra careful.
I don't know.
But it also looks worse when you're striking a female versus a guy.
Oh yeah. And I think that's the outrage too, was the fact too that it was a female. But you're right. And to be honest, I've hurt plenty of females, so I know.
So let's go back to the striking. Okay. So not knowing how thick her leg is or any of those things, and you have to hit the nerve. See, you have to hit the nerve, because you can be hitting and not hitting the nerve.
So you got to do a couple times.
It won't give the desired effect.
Okay.
The other thing I thought about was, okay, see, you got to understand these officers, they're thinking, they're trying to basically get her to comply, get that arm behind from up under her buttocks to her lower back.
Right.
Now, because I'm a little bit more experienced and because I dealt with a lot more resisting people, my second thought would have been to take out my baton and use it as a wedge. And what I would mean by that is that I would have took out my baton, ran it through the top of her shoulder, and literally wedged her arm out. That way it's a lot less. I don't have to use as much energy, and she can't help but let that arm go.
Because if she fought back against that, that wouldn't dislocate her shoulder.
No, not at all. But what it will do is that number one, it looks better. Flesh versus metal is going to win. Okay. It looks easier and quicker, and especially when you have multiple officers on the scene.
And
again, it takes an experienced officer. Basically, these things has to be innate with an officer. But one of the first things in police training is that they spend more time emphasizing strikes and deadly force. Now, I could be wrong here, okay? But the training that I went through, even as a civilian, before I went into the military, it was about self-protection. Self-protection included deadly force in it, and you are justified because you're protecting yourself and other officers. See, all of that, it has to do with extreme violence. But see, in the military, we spent more time in using words, talking, de-escalating, less than lethal tactics, joint manipulation, pain compliance. That's what we did in the military. And to me, that's the more effective and that's the more professional way to handle. That's what I call a passive resistor.
Okay.
Even pain compliance. I probably would have went across her nose, used the blade of my hand and went up her nose. Because the first thing you want to do is raise up. And as soon as you raise up, I got your arm.
Right.
But see, again, I mean, I can teach y'all and I can show y'all like the different ways of how to get a passive resistor up and out and get them in handcuffs. But it's one thing to teach it, it's another thing to practice it. And when it's go time, that's just something that you have to know.
I mean, I'm literally going to try this peroneal nerve on Lori and the dog tonight.
Yeah. I guess my thing for I would like to see the body cam because so first of all, I don't know if you follow Charlotte Lit the page and stuff, but they had a post the other day talking about a lot of people from different places like these police down here chill. They let you do it. If I ever see the police pull somebody over, you must have done something. And quite honestly, because they're understaffed and stuff, they are out there handling calls for service and stuff and not really, I would say, bothering people. And so I'd be really interested
in Charlotte. I would agree. In Charlotte, I would tend to agree.
Charlotte's got its real stuff to deal with, and just somebody smoking weed on the corner, which they know they're not going to get a conviction for, and it's paperwork and stuff.
Right.
And that's another discussion about the court system and the laws around here, which actually don't incentivize Charlotte police officers to arrest people
at all.
That's why a lot and real quick, it's money. If you're wondering why, it's money, because we get to show the rest of the nation our low arrest rates and low convictions and stuff, and it makes it look like there's a little crime here, and that's not what's going on. They're just not incentivized to do it because they know that people get to walk and they get to spend overtime doing paperwork on stuff that doesn't matter, and they waste the time in court.
Jermaine, you are dead on. Jermaine, you are dead on.
I would be really interested in what that conversation was and why she thought that she needed to strike the officers. The one thing I will say in the report from the police chief that I didn't particularly care about was the inclusion of the fact that the young man was armed.
Had a 9mm. Yep.
And the reason is because I could be armed. If they had said he was a felon and he had a firearm.
Did they say they didn't say he brandished it? They just said
he brandished it
after they found
it. Didn't say it was illegally. Yeah. So that part, I get what they're trying to say. Well, he could have, but he didn't, and he wasn't the person that you're worried about. And that part of it, I think, kind of looks kind of funny. Like,
were you trying to
sure he had a gun,
but because he was smoking marijuana and he had a gun? I didn't get the gun part.
Basically, okay, all it is about pre-notions about the fears that we've already put in front of you through social media all your life. So when you add the fact that we're dealing with a black man, when you add the fact that he has a gun, when you add the fact that he's smoking weed and he's resisting officers, but he happened not to be the problem. She happened to be the passive resistor. But see, you hear all these triggers that we have basically hypnotized you to automatically react negatively to. When we couple it all together and then we put it out to you, then you understand why this person had to be handled like this, because they're like vermin. Yeah, that's right. I said it.
That's Italian. I like that. But,
That's right. I said
and so, and so, like CJ's point, I think that now the female, I don't know, quite honestly, what situation you think that you're going to strike an officer in the face and it's going to go well for you.
Right.
Why would it? Why? And again, I'm as the female on this panel. I'm not gonna go. Stop it. I'm not gonna sit here and try to sit here and have this full confrontation with a man because that just makes no sense. And I'm like, again, there's a whole other things, but it's just like for her to sit there and to act like I'm big and bad and I'm gonna sit here and I'm like that just makes no sense because I was like either that or like you must have been out of your mind because if you thought that you was gonna go get somewhere with it, no, absolutely not.
They're trying to catch a civil case, guys, because what it is that
they're trying to get paid.
They're trying to get paid, and that's why she sat on her. Okay, you know what? I'm going to expose this part. She's trying to get paid.
Yeah.
Because why? She's looked at other civil situations and seen how people have came out, settled out of court for millions of dollars on end, da 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 da. But see, these were truly innocent people to the point to where they like how Jermaine was given the many examples of bad shoot situations. These people did not deserve to have their life taken, or even the gentleman that happened to be living, but he living as a paraplegic and a colostomy bag from getting shot in his back 6 times. They come on, these people literally did not deserve the level of police brutality that they have received. And see, everybody knows that from a certain angle, everything and anything can look bad. This is why even whenever we were young and coming up, we was always told, don't believe nothing you hear and only part of what you see, only half of what you see. But in other words, you don't have the full story.
But why? But you're talking about someone who she's trying to get money or this way or for some. There's so many people who give with these frivolous lawsuits, and again, even as the body cam video will come out in this way, and however, if it comes out, once it's out, you've really negated your chance, and you again may start looking like you are chasing an ambulance as a lawyer, chasing an ambulance.
Think for some people, $5,000 is a lot of money. You know, they're not looking for the $1 billion. I mean, really, I mean, seriously, and quite honestly, because trials are costly.
Yeah, they already have a lawyer.
Yeah, they're
basically, probably working pro bono right now.
I will tell you this, and this is just my experience. Again, marijuana use is not something that they're going to prosecute. Not low level, not that kind of stuff.
No, you have to be like a dealer or something. You got to have pounds.
I would almost.
If you ain't running bricks.
So these police officers work their areas and stuff. They know people in the area and stuff, especially people that have had multiple calls for service for. I would almost guarantee you that these officers did not approach them for the marijuana so much as I was open to approach them because they knew who they were.
Right. Listen, and you know what, Jermaine, that is
or this girl was problems and stuff. And we can't just walk up on them, but they're smoking marijuana, so they invited us to walk up on them, and now we can check. Now I can detain them.
Probable cause.
See if they got any other service.
Yeah, probable cause or something else.
Yeah, all they did was provide probable cause for the officers to approach them because there's no other reason because they don't care. Again, it wasn't about I'm sure that was their probable cause for the stop, but that's not what they stopped.
They were not going to take them in for marijuana.
No. And that's the thing.
And eating chicken? Come on. I mean,
I can say now if anything, guys, like I said, I'm spitballing because I haven't seen the video. I don't know the backgrounds. If anything, probably loitering, panhandling, something like that. That's what, and that's enough to bring officers on the scene. But
somebody called them and said, "Hey, we got
and that's what I'm saying." So, and like I said, I'm spitballing. I'm just guessing. I don't know. My experience, I'm going to say I share that with my brother Jermaine. I have a lot of close relationships. I'm still good with a lot of people with Charlotte PD. Very, very rare nowadays. Not nowadays. Will we have an incident like how we see in other states and other counties and stuff like that? I just don't see obvious. I'm gonna say I don't see obvious foul or over excessive play here, and especially without, like how you say, Brian, the multiple camera views. I mean, how many how many police officers were there? Like 3 or 4, right? Was it not?
About 5.
There's a lot of them on
Five.
scene.
Yeah.
It was
So
5.
again, so and see, my eyes only caught 3. See, again, elephant exposed. We
Right.
all was looking at the same elephant, but we all had a different number of how many people we saw on the scene. You know what I'm saying? And so it's about perspective, guys. It's all about perspective.
Yep.
So thank you for the homework.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
I thought I was going to give Elephant Exposed a little rest for a little bit, but man,
Go do that.
y'all
Go
just
do
keep
that.
pulling
I'd be
me.
interested to see that one.
Y'all
Well,
keep pulling me back in for work. So
I mean, in this day and age, that's going to be too hard to do, CJ, especially because in this day and age, because again, what this viral video proved once again is that every phone is an opportunity to catch something that probably before camera phones happen on a very regular basis, but have very few opportunities to be able to catch them. Now, because of the way people can post them to every different social platform and things like that, and like I said, get it all the way into Roland Martin's peripheral, just shows you how fast this just happened this week, and Roland had already gotten a hold of it. So it did not take long for it to work its way up to more of a national standpoint. I wish it hadn't, because I watched Roland Martin all the time on my YouTube, and what first thing that drew my attention was Charlotte Mecklenburg Police. I said, "Oh hell no, no! What we do, man?" As soon as I saw that, I was like,
oh
"No!"
damn! See, Roland was already Roland already had Charlotte on the map.
What Roland got to say about Charlotte?
He already. But see, no, he already had us on the map for something like one of our, because even though we in a blue city, we in a red state. So he was already on us for some political stuff.
Well,
so
and rightfully so, because that legislature in North Carolina, you got the Democrat lady that sat there and switched over to being Republican and gave the Republicans the majority, and all the gerrymandering that
I think that was it. Yeah, I think that was it.
So,
yeah,
trying to take power away from the Democratic governor. So yeah, they got some stuff in North Carolina to cover because of that. Hell, we got Mark Meadows, who was the chief of staff of Donald Trump, who's been in dieted and stuff like that. So we had Madison Cawthorn talking about cocaine fueled orgies in Congress. Tom Tillis. I mean, yeah, we got our hands full with some of these folk down here in Kakalaki. So plenty of things for the national media to talk about.
Plenty of red meat.
Follow Charlotte on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. And if you're ever curious about what's going on in Charlotte, like that video, that's the reason I saw it. I saw it on Charlotte, and when I say it was there, it wasn't an hour after it happened.
Wow. Yeah, so Charlotte. I think I saw it flash across my Facebook, and I was just
not Charlotte.
Charlotte. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I do. I think I get a
clean city.
Yeah. But yeah,
I would say that with pride. I would, but
I want to get out of here so bad. Maybe this case was more viral than anything else. I just don't. I see smoke, but I just don't see the fire.
Either.
To CJ's points about the strikes and stuff too, you actually had to hit the nerve, and you're like, well, he didn't have to hit it that many times. Well, I'm sure she was moving as much as they were trying to get her to comply, and he missed.
Have you ever tried to hit a moving target?
Yeah, and that's the thing too. If you've never fought anybody before and tried to be, and quite honestly, it takes a lot to be jealous of somebody. It's a lot easier to just be fast and furious and violent.
Here's the thing: how many of those viewers even understood what a peroneal nerve was before this?
They understood that she was a female, and I'll say this: whether it was an officer or a grown man, women stop swinging on men. You're not a man.
Thank you.
Nothing good gonna come from that.
Are you listening?
I don't swing on you, and I do not cash checks that I can't cash. I'm not trying to do that. Mm-mm.
She ain't about that life.
Ain't about that
No.
life.
She ain't about that life.
That's why when
stop
she
looking
was
at my
getting,
sister sideways, B.
when she was getting, riled up in this one against the police, I'm like, what are you doing?
What you
Just on the time keep. We're
Okay.
5 over.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. It was this way. Another great topics that we were talking about, but just as the timekeeper.
All right, y'all. Well, I'm sorry. I got Mama said the street light on, so I got to go in for the night. She want to get back to watching her damn Christmas Hallmark movies or something.
I haven't even put on no Christmas Hallmark movies.
Who playing
I
tonight?
think, what is it, the 16th, 17th? What is it?
Yeah.
It's the 16th.
Speaking of which, can y'all believe that next Thursday is actually Turkey Day?
Yeah. Chicken day for me, man. Y'all can keep the turkey.
Thank you.
I am so tired.
We ain't doing turkey either. We got Cornish hens. So
okay, yeah, all right.
We ain't doing the turkey either. So yeah, I just call it that. But yeah, we don't do turkey. Not much.
Yeah, and I'm thankful every day. I'm thankful for you guys.
Oh, we thankful for you too. But with all that said, if y'all come here next Thursday at 7:00 and wonder where the hell is Head to Head with Brian Parker, my head gonna be eating some food. It will not be here next week. So y'all take that week off. Y'all come back the next week. Now I'm sure with that extra week, there's gonna be a whole lot of stuff to talk about, and we love doing that show with y'all out there. You can always check rebroadcast of this show on YouTube, Facebook, not Instagram, X, LinkedIn. You can catch it on Amazon Fire TV as well as Roku TV. But that's going to do it for this week. I'd like to thank my panel, Lori Parker, Mr. TNTBS, CJ Jones, and last but not least, Mr. Ray Parker, aka the franchise. We'll see y'all again next week. Y'all take care. Be safe out in them streets. Peace.
This a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it.